Greenbacks only. Greenbacks. Hurry.
This time the story is about criminals who steal casino money. Heist, released in 2015. This film tells the story of a man who robs his former boss's casino to finance his daughter's surgery. He and his friends managed to bring $3 million, but unfortunately they were betrayed, so they had to be trapped in a city bus. Guess how it goes? Let's go to the next story. At the beginning of the film, a man and his girlfriend are seen being arrested and interrogated. It turns out that they are a casino thief named Suan. Pope, as the casino manager, then explains about the rules of the casino. Anyone who dares to steal money at his casino will not hesitate to kill him. Pope then gave 10 seconds to admit who was behind the theft as well as where the money was stored. Feeling his life was threatened and the count was running out, the thief finally told the truth. But either way, rules are rules. They are finally killed by Derek, Pope's accomplice. Those are the rules that Pope has adhered to during his 30 years as a casino manager, and those rules that keep his casino safe. Because it can be said that making money there is the same as committing suicide. This party is a farewell party that Pope will retire soon. Everyone toasts in honor of his dedication while running the casino there. Still, the same night, a casino worker named Lux came to the hospital to visit his daughter who was being treated for cancer. Lux also met his wife Julie, and also gave her a check to pay for the hospital fees. But in fact, the money is not enough, let alone to pay for the operating costs, which are not cheap. That's why he went to see the doctor who treated his daughter and begged to ask for time until Friday so that her daughter was still treated and operated on.
Please.
That night Lux seemed unenthusiastic about his routine. He couldn't stop thinking about how to make money for his daughter's surgery, but that's when someone named Cox came, and from his conversation it turned out that he wanted to invite Lux to help him rob the casino. This idea he got that every day we always have Chinese people who use the casino to launder money. Cox needed Lux as the one with access to the vault, but Lux refused and said that stealing from Pope was tantamount to suicide. When there was an opportunity, Lux came to Pope to borrow money and begged as a friend to help with the cost of his daughter's surgery, and he was willing to pay in installments with his salary later. Unfortunately, Pope refuses because the amount is very large, especially according to him. The casino is also not a charity that can just spend money. Even though Pope used to be a close friend of his, he even knew that Pope didn't get along with his son, Sydney. An argument ensued until Lux was finally kicked out of the room and he was fired. Because there was no other way, Lux finally held a meeting with Cox and his two friends, Mickey and Dante. Lux explained the robbery strategy in detail and divided each task so that the robbery could be carried out within 10 minutes. Around 3 a.m. Dante and Lux got their guns ready. Mickey would wait for them in the parking lot until the robbery was over. Meanwhile, in the casino, Cox is in charge of turning off the electric switch, and when the power goes out, Lux, Dante and Cox must rush to get the money and run away within 10 minutes. They carefully took all the money from the safe, and when they were done, unfortunately a guard caught them, so a panicked Cox shot him. Derek heard the gunshots and in the end a gunfight ensued. At that time Dante was shot, but he managed to get out with his friends. Unfortunately, when they were outside they were left by Mickey because he panicked when he heard the gunshots earlier. Inevitably, Lux and Cox had to bring Dante to run and escape from the pursuit of Derek and his men. Luckily at that time they saw a night bus and immediately blocked the bus to come along. They were not aware because not far from there was a policeman who was on patrol who then came because they heard gunshots. Hearing that there were police, Derek and his men finally stopped teaching, while Lux and his friends tried to blend in so they wouldn't be suspected. The cops were trying to check on the situation on the bus. They were almost unsuspected if Cox hadn't tried to kill the cop. In the morning, Pope comes and asks how much money he managed to rob. Derek tells the missing casino money amount is $3 million and the culprit is Lux. Pope, of course, was worried because the money belonged to a relative who often worked together to launder money. Derek promises that he will find Lux and his friends and return the money that has been robbed. That morning, the news of the bus hijacking had already made headlines on every TV. They broadcast live buses speeding through the streets escorted by police cars with no definite purpose. On the bus, Cox seemed to take all the cell phones of the passengers in anticipation if one of the passengers tried to take photos. Lux himself, who saw Cox's ruthlessness, looked unbearable, and he also tried to calm the passengers so that everything remained calm. Lux here promised that everything would be fine and could descend safely later. Because Dante's condition was getting worse, Lux finally asked which of the passengers understand medical science, and it turned out that there was a medical student, and he was immediately ordered to help treat Dante for a while. That's when Cox said his next plan was to go to the border and he'd ask a friend to get an airplane ready to get out by air. The bus they were traveling in was running out of fuel. The only way was to make a deal with the police to exchange the hostages for fuel. A leader of the police named Marconi tried to take advantage of this moment to carry out attacks by air. He also ordered his best sniper to be ready in the helicopter when the officers exchanged on the bridge. When they reached the border, Lux descended with a pregnant woman and a boy. Chris refueled while trying to dig up information about Lux's next plans. But Lux was certainly not stupid. He did not answer anything, including when asked his name. While checking the condition of the passengers, Chris tries to make an offer to take Dante to the hospital. That's when Cox was offended. Cox then tells Dante to kill all the passengers if Chris dares to shoot. Not wanting to end up with many victims, Lux finally brought Chris to get out. That's when the sniper asked for an order to shoot, but Marconi cancelled it because he was worried that there would be casualties from the passengers. On the other hand, Pope meets Sydney, the only one his daughter. It turns out that this daughter has not gotten along with her father for a long time, even when she refuses when Pope will bequeath half of Casino's shares. Sydney persisted. Because of the casino, her father was too busy to forget about her mother and herself. She didn't want to accept a penny, even though she knew that Pope was now suffering from a serious lung disease. Furthermore, the released hostage was interrogated by the police. She said the name of one of the groups, namely Cox. In addition, she did not know where they were going or any other personal information. She also managed to draw one of the sketches of the robber's face. Chris then analyzes the sketch of the face and finds that the face is Lux, who is a former soldier. Derek, who is still trying to catch up with his casino robber, finally managed to get Jason Cox's data. He called the operator pretending to be Cox, using the classic excuse that his cell phone was used by the princess without permission. Then Derek got a number which later, when called, it turned out to be the number of the airline in Texas. He reported his discovery to Pope. Derek also asked permission to kidnap Lux's daughter, who was in the hospital, so that Lux returned the money. But the plan was rejected. He forbade his daughter or his wife to be involved. Pope insisted that Derek settle this matter directly with Lux without having to involve anyone else.
Is that understood?
Understood.
A few hours later, Marconi called the bus and offered medicine to the dying Dante. Seeing Dante's condition, Lux finally asked for some equipment and medicine. But Marconi asked for a condition so that he could give the drugs directly and check on the passengers. Meanwhile, Chris reports that he found Lux's house empty and there are many bills in his house. He also intends to come to his workplace, namely Casino Swan. But Marconi asks him to rest and will assign his other subordinates to check the casino. Shortly after that, Marconi managed to get on the bus and the most surprising thing happened. Marconi apparently gave poison so that Dante died after being injected.
Oh my God!
Then it was revealed that Marconi was Pope's subordinate, and at that time Pope made an offer that he would pay for his son's surgery as long as Lux gave all the stolen money. But Lux refused, because he knew that Pope had never broken his rules and there was no way he could just free himself.
Sorry. No deal.
Cox himself was angry that his friend was killed and immediately beat Marconi and almost killed him, but Lux forbade it by explaining that it would only make things worse. It turned out that Lux's guess was wrong, because after Marconi was thrown off the bus, he was furious and immediately ordered the SWAT team to raid directly regardless of the hostages. How many SWAT troops driving cars and motorbikes began to chase. SWAT troops on motorbikes fired tear gas to make all passengers panic. Lux, who was quite experienced, immediately shot at the window of the bus to let the tear gas escape from inside. Meanwhile, 4 troops managed to climb onto the roof, and again Lux didn't run out of ideas. He immediately grabbed and rocked the bus left and right. The situation there was even more cornered when the tire burst and made the bus lose control and hit the road divider. To anticipate, Lux immediately sprayed Pilox on the bus window so that the police could not see the situation inside. Cock, who knew that the incident was recorded live on TV, told one of the passengers to call. On the phone he threatened to shoot the bus driver if the police didn't leave immediately. Police and TV cameras couldn't see clearly what was going on in the bus. They only saw the bus driver at gunpoint. Lux tried to calm Cox not to act rashly, but things got heated and this happened.
No, I'm in charge. No, I'm in charge!
Marconi, who didn't want a bad reputation, finally gave up his intention to raid the bus. That's when Lux got a call from his daughter. His heart melted and he was very sad when he heard his daughter's voice. If only the disease could be transferred to him, then he was willing to bear the pain that his daughter suffered. His daughter then said that she was very proud to have a father who was a hero. Apparently at that time Chris was there and knew that what he was doing was solely to save his daughter. Lux said that he would send the money before 7 a.m. and he also explained the shot that had been heard earlier on TV wasn't Cox's shot at the driver but Lux who shot Cox to death. Finished calling, Lux looked so depressed. He wanted to get out of the bus quickly while his condition was surrounded and couldn't do anything. That's when the driver, feeling saved, came up with an idea. Lux called Marconi again to make a final deal. He asked the police to send a mechanic to fix the tires and instead he took all the hostages down and left only one hostage with him. He also asked the police to stop following him if the bus was moving. Marconi finally agreed.
Deal.
The tires were repaired and the hostages were taken down, after which the bus started moving again. However, Marconi, who was impatient, immediately ordered his men to immediately give chase and catch Lux. The bus was successfully chased and in a corner in a field. All the police officers immediately surrounded them and were ready with direct kill orders, but it turned out that Lux had already left with all of the hostages and escaped under cover in a police car. On the way, he called Cox's friend to immediately prepare his plane, but when he arrived at the destination Lux found that his friend had been killed and Derek shot him unconscious from behind without realizing it. When he woke up, Lux was already tied up and was on the bus. Marconi, Pope and Derek were there too. But unexpectedly, Pope shoots Marconi to death so that no one else knows about this matter. Derek then asked where the stolen money was stored because in the bag only contained small dolls. And again reveals that it turns out that the money has been taken by the first Sandra, who pretends to be pregnant, who turns out to be Lux's sister. Lux only laughed at having managed to fool everyone at once. He was able to deliver the money to the hospital in time. Derek of course became so emotional that he threatened to kill his daughter after burning Lux. The situation got even more heated because Lux didn't accept his daughter being threatened like that. Then Pope turned out to be touched by how much Lux's love for his daughter was. While he himself never got along with Sydney, even his daughter didn't care at all about his dying situation. Pope also shoots Derek dead. Before leaving, Lux had time to call Chris to ask how his daughter was doing. He reported that his daughter is currently preparing for surgery. Lux also asks if he will be arrested, but Chris says that all the hostages on the bus only mention the two hijackers. The film ends by showing Pope, who is resigned to waiting for the arrival of the police who are ready to arrest him. From the film just shows that a father can do anything for his child, including committing crimes or vice versa. And a person who has a lot of money and lives in luxury may be poor in love. Hopefully with this story we can appreciate and respect the services of our parents who have gone to great lengths to raise us. Pursue wealth as you please and don't forget to care for those around us. See you on the next story.